The Imperial war barge trembled as Queen Zathra's roar echoed through the crystalline halls. Her 4 arms gestured wildly, her chitinous armor gleaming under the violet lights of her throne room. "Who fixed my armor?" she bellowed again, her mandibles clicking with barely contained fury. The assembled court of the Zethric Empire cowered. Ministers, generals, and advisors, all veteran warriors who had conquered 100 worlds, pressed themselves against the walls. None dared speak. Jackson wiped grease from his hands onto his already filthy jumpsuit and sighed. He'd been hoping to avoid this exact situation. The human mechanic had been working in the lower maintenance decks for 3 months since his colony ship was captured, and he'd done his best to stay invisible. Apparently, that plan had just failed spectacularly. "The human did it, Your Radiance," hissed General Krex, his translator implant crackling. The prisoner from Deck 7. The Queen's 6 eyes swiveled toward the entrance where 2 guards were already dragging Jackson into the throne room. His boots squeaked against the polished floor as they deposited him before the throne, forcing him to his knees. Jackson looked up at the alien monarch. She was massive, easily 12 feet tall, with armor that seemed to be part organic carapace, part advanced technology. And apparently, he'd just committed some grave offense by repairing it. "You," Zathra said, her voice dropping to a dangerous whisper. "You dared touch the sacred armor of the Imperial line?" Jackson said, scratching his head. "Yeah, I guess I did, sorry." A collective gasp rippled through the court. "Sorry?" The Queen leaned forward, her compound eyes reflecting his image 100 times over. "The penalty for touching the sacred armor is molecular disintegration. The penalty for defiling it is far worse." Jackson's heart hammered, but he kept his voice steady. "Look, Your Majesty, I didn't defile anything. The power coupling on your left shoulder plate was completely shot. The servo joints in your right arm were grinding themselves to powder. And don't even get me started on the coolant system. You were about 2 more fights away from cooking yourself alive in there." Silence. I was cooking?" The Queen's voice had lost its edge of fury, replaced by something that sounded almost like confusion. "Yeah." Jackson stood up, ignoring the weapons now pointed at his head. "Your mechanics are idiots. No offense to present company, but that armor is a masterpiece of engineering, and they were maintaining it like it was a cargo hauler. I spent 12 hours rewiring the neural interface alone." "The armor has not felt this comfortable in cycles," Zathra admitted slowly. "The constant pain in my lower thorax is gone. I can move without the grinding sensation. The temperature regulation actually works." "Exactly." Jackson crossed his arms. "I also reinforced the weak points in the ablative plating. Upgraded your shield emitters with a cascading frequency that'll make them 30% more efficient, and fix that annoying rattle in your helmet that was probably driving you crazy." The Queen stared at him for a long moment. Then she began to laugh, a sound like rocks tumbling in a steel drum. "Human," she said, "what is your name?" "Jackson, ma'am." "Jackson Torres." "Formerly of the colony ship New Horizon, currently your prisoner." "Jackson Torres." She tested the name. "Tell me, how did you accomplish in one night what my entire engineering corps could not achieve in cycles?" Jackson shrugged. "I'm good with machines. Always have been. Plus, humans have been fixing broken things with duct tape and determination for centuries. Your armor's tech is advanced, sure, but the principles are the same. You find the problem, you solve it, you test it, you move on. My master artificer," Zathra gestured to a hunched creature with tentacles where its face should be, "studied for 40 solar cycles to earn the right to maintain the sacred armor." "Yeah. Well, I learned by fixing tractors on my dad's farm, then fusion reactors on mining stations, then pretty much everything else that broke." Jackson met her gaze. "With respect, Your Majesty, credentials don't mean much if you can't actually do the job." Another pause. The tension in the room was thick enough to cut. Then Zathra stood, her repaired armor moving with a grace it hadn't possessed in years. She descended from her throne and stopped directly in front of Jackson, towering over him. "Bella," she called out. A young woman was brought forward, another human prisoner, her face streaked with tears. Jackson's jaw tightened as he recognized her from the New Horizon. "This is your mate?" Zathra asked. "My sister," Jackson said quietly. "I see." The Queen nodded. "Jackson Torres, I offer you a choice. You may continue as a prisoner and your sister will be sent to the labor camps, or you become the master artificer of the Imperial Court." You will maintain my armor and the armor of my elite guard. You will teach my engineers your human methods. In exchange, you and your sister will have quarters, freedom within the ship, and protection under my personal seal." Jackson looked at Bella, then back at the Queen. "And the other humans from my ship? Do not push your fortune, human. I fix armor. I improve systems. I train your people." Jackson stood his ground. "In exchange, all the humans from the New Horizon get better conditions. Real food, proper quarters, and eventual passage home when this war of yours is done." The court erupted in outrage, but Zathra raised one clawed hand for silence. Her eyes studied Jackson with newfound respect. "You bargain boldly for a prisoner." "I work boldly for an engineer," Jackson countered. The Queen's mandibles spread in what might have been a smile. "Very well. I accept your terms, Jackson Torres. But know this, if you ever betray me, your fate will be a lesson told across 1,000 worlds." "I'll keep your armor running," Jackson said. "You keep your word. We'll get along fine." As the guards released Bella into her brother's arms, Queen Zathra returned to her throne, moving with a fluidity her armor hadn't allowed in years. Perhaps, she thought, there was something to be said for human ingenuity after all.